Oh, hello there. Good evening. Didn't see you on the ground there. Well, I did because I picked you up. Welcome to my house tour. It's, not to flex or anything, but at the price of maybe 30 logs or so, you can get yourself such a wonderful house like I did. So today, I'm going to be collecting wood and making a fire, like usual. Well, that's interesting. Some tree we used to be here. So I shall now cut to fire being made, because it's truly what you're here for. And later on, I will show you what we're doing. It's quite exciting. I haven't done it before. See you at the fire making. At this point, the fire is somewhat made. Here's a stick. It is shaved, more or less. There's still some bits and pieces that I could technically take off, but for the purpose of what we're doing, it is absolutely fine. And so, as you can see, fire over there, being chill. We have a special guest today. Its name is, if I can get to it, its name is Slim Shady. No. Excuse the Tupperware, but I have, if the camera would focus, dough. Now, if you're not enlightened on what people can do with dough and sticks in the forest on what day is it today? On a day with sun in the forest, let me enlighten you. So you're gonna take a stick here. Ideally you shave it down, because otherwise you have a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, I know, I'm absolutely glowing, glow up. Take one of these sticks, kinda shave it down with a knife, or whatever. I prefer hazel, but I couldn't find any hazel that, was not part of a tree, and I kind of dislike dismembering trees when there's so much wood that I can use on the ground. So I found one of these, and so I think what I'm supposed to do, because I haven't done it in a while, is brush my hands off violently so I don't get all that stuff from the fire on it. Then I'm gonna take a chunk. My goodness, this stuff really wants to stick together. Look at this. It looks so good. I made this bread perfectly in one of those machines too, so anyone who dislikes those machines, sorry, I made perfect bread. So I'm gonna take some, and it's gonna look absolutely overexposed, but that is okay. Or is it? I don't know about the viewing experience, but make one of these sausages. I'm gonna make it a bit longer because my stick is a bit longer. Make one of these sausages. It feels really nice in the hands. It's kind of like a stress ball, but you can eat it. You take it. It's nice and long. It's very long. You can twirl it a bit. You can slap it around. Whatever makes it longer. Kind of grip it like this. You can roll it. You can listen to whatever. Today there has been a lot of stuff falling out of the trees. I don't know what it is. I hope it's just branches and not birds or something. Maybe it's birds. There is actually a cage behind me. There didn't used to be a cage over there, which is spooky. It keeps on getting spookier. Now, today I came into the forest and I was like, wow, it is surprisingly damp. We've had some sun for a few days now, but everything is still damp. So I took way too long to make that fire. And now, since it's kind of okay, we're gonna, I don't know, stick it around the top there, like that. This camera is a bit low for my taste. And we wrap it around. You can spin the stick, you can use this and just kind of wrap it around like that. Whatever you fancy. This might be a bit thick, actually, which just means it'll cook slower, but I have no problem eating something that's a little raw on the inside. So then you stick it down over here, and as easy as pie, you have rolled bread. This bread, I guess you could call it campfire bread, twisted bread, some people call it. You could call it snake bread, because, you know, snake, I guess. Or like the Danish call it, Snobrød or something like that, Snobrød. You know, I'm not a Dane, so any Danes over there can, you know, cuss me out for mispronouncing or something, but I looked it up and I think it's Snobrød. I hope it's right. And so now I have a bit of dough for maybe 2 more of these. And we're gonna move over to the fire and not stick it in the smoke, because, you know, smoke is fun and all, but I kinda don't wanna. Yeah, you just stick it over there. So I'm gonna set the camera up and get that started, so I can have some bread. You can have some extensive rambles on some kind of subject of your choosing. Just kidding, you don't get to choose. You're hostages now. Hostages to my rambles. Oh, not me tripping over logs or anything, don't worry. Oh man. Best setup, am I right? Everything's absolutely scuffed. By the end of this, I'm gonna look like I came out of the woods, or lived in the woods, or something. Yeah, that's fairly hot. So we're gonna hope for a second that what I've done, I have prepared this very badly. Nothing is stable. I couldn't sit on logs, but we'll definitely set something up. Yeah, there we go. There's some people nearby. Kind of want to avoid them, so if they come this way, you're gonna get turned off real quick. I mean, not like this is a live stream or anything, because I'll just skip to the next available point in time, and you will not miss a thing. This bread will turn gray if I stick it over the smoke a lot, which is why this is unfortunate, and why I should have left it, you know, turn into coals a bit more. But I don't have an infinite amount of time, but I do have a fair amount of time. But I've already spent an embarrassing amount of time on making this fire, because I used the wrong materials from the get-go, and then had to make up for it, you know, as one does. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully, when you make a fire, if you do make fires, you start with small twigs that are hopefully some level of dry, and then work your way up. I started at, you know, that size, which, as you heard from me, didn't go so well. And then I had to do the short twigs anyway. So that was fantastic. With all this bird activity, you'd think it's spring or something. Not quite, not quite. It is fall, but weirdly enough, I think fall fits what most people's expectations of spring would be, and spring fits, I don't know, a lot of people think fall is cozy and spring is like the flowers are blooming and stuff comes back to life, and I'd say that's early summer, because spring is, depending on where you are really, but from how I experience it, spring is really just cold, miserable, worse than winter. Winter at least has, you know, some kind of festive spirit. By festive spirit, I mean it starts in October, sometimes even September, and the festive spirit is entirely about buying stuff. And you know that one guy who was born, but you know, he doesn't matter so much. But that's how they sell you stuff. They're like, oh, remember, it's that guy's birthday, so it's special, celebrate or else. And then they make you buy stuff. And make you buy stuff for others. Socially, at least. The only good part about that is buying the tree, if you even do that. If you get a plastic tree, sure, fine, whatever. But if you get a real tree, that's nice. And then, if you keep it for several months, not that you should, because it's rather cumbersome and it gets really dry. Oh, it's still hot, that's good. But if you do keep the tree for a good while, you get a dry tree, naturally. And with a dry tree... Okay, someone walking their dog over there. Good, they're not coming towards me. Greatest tradition you can ever do with a dry tree, if you have the space and time to drag a tree up a hill like me or something. You can burn it, because, oh my goodness, until you've seen a Christmas tree go up in flames, you have not seen, you know, a scary fire. Well, unless you... There's a multitude of ways you've witnessed a scary fire, so I will just leave that out of the question. But it roars. It's so amazing. This is like a good January, early February kind of event to do, because of the whole needs to be dry thing. Yeah, this isn't fantastic. Every time I try to make bread or grill bread or do something to bread in the woods, it goes terribly. The fire just does not cooperate. Though, if you see over here, it is doing something. It's getting warm, so I guess that's a start. It is going to be super smoky. Which is a bit sad, but you know. Let me see if I can remove that smoke, actually. You, go away, you're extremely smoky. There we go. And this one. And this one. These are the main culprits for all the smoke. And so now, we just get them out of the way and put this closer to the fire. Well, once again, calling it a fire is a little exaggerated, but it's not even hot coals, it's kind of cold coals. Oh no, I broke my stick. I was trying to do big brain move, but you know, the clumsiness won. Okay, so now I just have a shorter stick, which is kind of painful on my knees, honestly. Time to look at the bread. Wow. It's like the universe is trying to tell me that I can endure frustrating times by making bread in the woods over and over again and it working. Not a single time. Though this time actually it will work, it'll just take a while. So, what you doing today? You come here often? You should. It's a pretty peaceful place. Till you find me mumbling about bread. Sitting like a goblin. Just trying to toast my bread, man. Nah. A great wood for this is really just... Yeah. Yay, people. Wow. Great wood for this, as I've said before, is the marvelous. I'm gonna have to get a place to sit, my goodness. What's it called? A hazel? Hazel, yeah, hazel. I've said it before. Why can't I say it again? Oh no, please don't come up here. The wood is just so nicely straight, and yeah, I think I have to come do this again another time, but you're definitely gonna see this. So you can see how badly a fire can do, despite it seemingly going well at points. At least it's not as smoky as before, but there's also no fire, so... Oh yeah, what a surprise. The fire isn't smoking because there's no fire, reports say. Can honestly just move this back to the previous position. No, I put my tripod... Oh. Everything is awesome today because I put my tripod in the dough. Amazing. Oh no, please go away. Oh no, don't come up here. They have a dog. Or is that a cat? No, that's a dog. Oh, thank goodness someone called them back. I get nervous when people decide to run past my campfire. Main reason is just no one wants to see some... No, I don't want them to see, for the most part. So, just me rambling to a camera in the woods. You probably don't want to see that either. I'm kidding. Of course you want to see this. This is the best thing ever. This is the best wood sound to fall asleep to. Alright, so my recording's about to cut by itself because this camera is amazing and doesn't have settings I can change. I'm gonna try and build up the fire a bit more and I don't know, keep cooking this bread, you know, once you're back. After some heavy negotiations, I managed to get the fire motivated again. So now we have fire, which means heat. It's not super heated yet, but you know, there's flame. Actually, there's not a lot of smoke, which is gigantic plus. Well, there's still smoke, just harder to see smoke. The more fun kind to inhale. This time without the water, well, you know? All the good stuff. Not that most people would care, probably, but if I get this out in a reasonable amount of time, No Man's Sky, you know that game? It's a game, if you're interested at all, is currently on sale, 50% off on Steam. Now this interests me because normally it's a very expensive game. Yes, I do consider $60 for a game quite expensive. No, I do not buy AAA games until maybe like 8 years later or something, and then also on sale. It's the best strategy for saving money. Just, oh, new game that you really like came out? Okay, wait a good 20 years and you'll get it for $1 or something. Not always though. Or for free. Who knows? I do find space games. It's a space game, by the way. It's a game and you're in space sometimes. And you can do stuff in space. You know? The type of space, it's not like a Star Wars kind of space game. It's more of a, you're in a galaxy and the galaxy is gigantic and there's no way you could explore it alone kind of thing. Or with many people either, that exists too. It's just gigantic. I find the way several space games, now I don't know a massive amount about the community of each game because I haven't spent any to a little bit of time in most of them, but based on some stuff I've seen about them, I find their communities quite interesting. No Man's Sky, for example, gigantic universe, and for the most part, from what I've heard, if you meet another player, it's multiplayer. Yeah, I know, amazing. If you meet another player, oh yeah, this bread's turning a little gray because of the smoke, tends to happen. As I was saying, if you meet another player, it's kind of seen as a, wow, I've met another player in this gigantic universe, because there's no, once again, I'm kind of talking from no experience here, there's no main hub, kind of, like other games. Like there's like ships you can park at or something. There's no hub, generally. Like no single or, you know, the big ones or something, so you'll encounter players fairly rarely, and when you do encounter them, it's generally, wow, I found another player, we're best buds, or something. I hope so, at least, because that sounds awesome. You just stroll up on a planet, you somehow meet them on that same planet, in that same exact space, the odds are unfathomable, just extremely amazing. And so you're happy about it. You're like, wow, another player. I can say hi to them or something. And so you're happy about it, right? And there's other games that, you know, are quite extreme, I feel like. Like, they're very immersive, but they... Yeah, I am toasting my bread to the extreme here as well, as I say extreme. Right in the flame. Yeah, it's getting a little crispy. Yeah, I don't want to make anyone from certain player bases mad, because the amount of dedication they have for their game, my goodness, impressive. There's a game called Eve, another space game with a big universe. I think it's a subscription-based game, as in you need to pay a monthly fee or something to play it, which already is, I don't know, it's something. The issue with that is I think the developers added some kind of way to play it for free, but you needed to, you know, make a certain amount of money in game and pay off your interest every day or something in this in-game currency, which in theory sounds amazing, because then you can play it for free and paid and whatever, and one gives you the opportunity to play it for free, obviously, and you just have to make money in game. The other one, you have no risk of your account getting shut down or whatever from missing a payment on some specific day or something. So both amazing. The problem with that, though, is you give the player base a currency exchange when you actively discourage currency exchanges in a game, and then give your players an exact currency exchange. I don't know if that's exactly what it's going for right now. So I'm not 100% because I don't do massive research into this, into my talking subjects. I kind of just go with whatever is in my brain, which is not the best way to do it, so don't take everything I say with a big chunk of salt. Yeah, I mean, people were already selling that kind of currency, you know, before that and whatever, which, honestly, that game fascinates me. It's just really cool. It's just kind of complicated, and I probably will never get into it. But I think everything is player made, which is, you know, amazing. So if you have a ship, all the parts in that ship are made by some player who sold them to someone else. So it's basically like real life, I guess, but in space, and people are dedicated to it for that reason, because you can have gigantic corporations and casinos, and from the small stuff I've heard, there have been wars between governments and you know, casinos and corporations costing, in the real world, you know, currency, whichever one you prefer, millions or hundreds of thousands. I don't remember which, but they're both very impressive. So that game has a bit of a darker tone, I find. I tend to prefer the ones where people are a bit nice, I guess. Not saying that there aren't nice people. There's 100% nice people there. You know, as in real life, there's some people who are not so nice, some people who are nicer, you know? You just... Yeah, nothing spoils the whole batch. It's just kind of, you know, out there. So... Then there's another game which it looks really good, but I don't know much about the multiplayer functions of it and how multiplayer. So from what I've seen, actually, it's limited multiplayer, or not, in which case cool, but it just looks really good. It looks amazing, it looks really good. It's probably the most expensive one off the bat, and it's not done yet, so that's that's fantastic, you know. I don't remember what it's called. It's something Star Citizen or something. It's something Citizen. So I'll probably put in a little thing that appears and goes, wow, it's this. So I can correct myself. So we're getting our bread done here. Looks quite delicious. You know? I tried to toast it evenly because nobody likes, well, some people like bread that is absolutely charred, but I do not. I'm trying to do something specific here, and it's kind of hard to do that with charred bread. Once again, I'm not 100% qualified to talk about these space games, but the one I do play is also one that I am blanking on name-wise. It's like Elite Dangerous. It's completed as a game, I think. I mean, they add new stuff sometimes, and some of the stuff they add is jank, but you know, I don't have that stuff. Yeah, it's quite hard, the outside, so that's a good start. Maybe I'll roast the tip a bit more. Oh no, I've touched the coals. Okay, it wiped off, that's good. Usually when it's a bit more in the dough phase, when it's still a bit squishy, it will, oh, once you get some ash on there, it's never coming off. But no, it's fine, it came off. So this Elite Dangerous seems to me to be the most diverse, you know, space game. What I'm qualifying as space game is stuff with massive systems, but I'm not entirely sure about Star Citizen. I think it's got like large systems, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. So I'm twisting the bread so it comes off the stick nicely, and I'm gonna put some cheese in it because I am creative. So I take this, I just twist it off. And then it should still have a fair amount of, you know, stuff on it. The stick still has some stuff on it, but that's alright. I just take my cheese from over here. Yes, I had cheese. It's kind of soft by now, which is... So I put the cheese in here. And since it's absolutely scalding on the inside, it should melt and slide right down. Yeah, that's working nicely. This is how you load a musket or something. Cannon. Tamp it down. Yeah, I don't want to break the bread though, so you know what? I'll stop doing that. So yeah, never tried this before, but it seems to work quite well. And if you have a hot dog, this is perfect because, you know, when you usually make hot dogs in the forest and they kind of like get oils and stuff everywhere, this is perfect. This is, you make a bun that is the shape of a hot dog, basically. You just plop the hot dog in there and boom, hot dog. Hot diggity dog. I'll put an extra slice of cheese in there because I like cheese. Which reminds me of that one clip of that kid saying, "I smell like beef." Funny clip. I do not smell like beef though. I don't smell like cheese either. I smell like smoke. I wonder why. Oh yeah. See? Okay. Whoa. Camera, no. Okay, so I kind of broke the bread on purpose, but look, I have cheese in the top, and then down here, cheese. So I can use the second half. Oh, long string of cheese. So I can use the second half to add more cheese. and get it wonderfully. This is my lunch, by the way. Yes, I did not eat lunch today, and I came up into the woods just to make lunch. I am that cool. This is a smoked cheese, and if you have never tried smoked cheese, you should try it because, you know, good. And if you dislike it, you do you. This is very nice and creamy. This is good. And works excellent with cheese too. It's kind of like that one Czech treat that I'm not going to even try and pronounce because I don't remember its name. It's like pastry or something with stuff inside. Though I kind of like this. I've never tried it before, the Czech thing. Yep, this is definitely something I'm gonna make a lot then. In terms of the dough used, you can use a pizza dough. That's what I used here. If you look up how to pizza dough online or something, I might actually put a recipe in the description. But you can use any dough you want. It should work fine. So yeah, that game I was talking about, Elite Dangerous or something. I just think it's really cool because the design is awesome. Whenever you enter like a station, it's like, hello, welcome to Wolf Station or something. I'm like, wow, thank you for letting me park here. It's so cozy because when you're in space, you are absolutely tiny. And when you're in a station, you're still absolutely tiny, but you feel that bit more protected. It's a really cozy feeling. Which is why I complete about only one mission every time I play, because I go from a cozy space to the void of space. And then back to a cozy space. So I'm like, no, I don't want to leave, so I kind of just stay there until the next time, obviously. In terms of random stuff I've heard about the game, even before I played, which, if anyone asks me enough questions about it, no, I'm not a seasoned player or anything. As you just heard my playstyle. It's like, I pick up stuff at one station and drop it off at another. It's nothing complex. But it's, from what I've seen, the most diverse player base, and that might get me some hate, but there's like different groups that'll do stuff for you. There's like some people who will go and rescue you if you run out of fuel, and they'll go throw extra fuel at you so you don't die in space. Not that there's super high stakes, like you won't die in real life or anything, but it's a nice gesture. And it's free, so you can go to like their website and say, hey, I'm kinda stranded in space, and then they come for you. I might want to make another one of these, so that's why I just stuck my hand in the fire. I'll definitely call this a success. I mean, look, now I didn't do the cheese thing, but you know, imagine there was like a bridge of cheese. There wasn't, sadly, so. But it's definitely delicious, and if you have the resources to do this, I suggest you do it too, just to try. Well, it turned out surprisingly better than I thought it would, with fire. Thank you for listening to me ramble about a fire, to a camera, and make some cheesy bread. I will see you another time, I guess. Remember to hydrate, and farewell to you.